All right, so this is what I used to break the beads down. You could put a 2x4 up against it, a 2x6 with a little semicircle cut out of it, drive it, and we'll put it in an angle and drive your car over it and let your car press it down. But basically all I did was put this up against the bead, just like you see it right here, hit it over and over, and I worked it around, and finally the bead popped loose. Now we've done that on both sides. Now let me show you how to break the tire down. All right, this is the drop center side of the wheel. This is the side that the tire will have to come off of. All right, to do so, you basically want to get the lip up, just like that right there. We dove down inside there, we grabbed the bead, we pulled it up over and pushed the tire down into the drop center of the wheel. So the tire is actually down inside here now, the bead of the tire. So that gave us more room on this side for the tire to come up. Now what we want to do is try to find something that's round and solid. We're going to put those in here instead of the flat bar. Got one there, and we'll put one on the other side. All right, we'll pull the flat bar out. Now what I want to do is stick something else that's round inside there, inside the center of the hole. So basically just put a screwdriver down in there. Now, all we're gonna do is take what I would call these chopsticks, and look how much room we've got on the workbench. We have none. I didn't know I was gonna make this video, but now we have what I would call the chopsticks sticking in the bead. They're round, they're gonna glide around very nicely. So basically just take one and go one way with it, and take the other one and go the other way. And you can see what happens. All right, just like that, we've got one side off. Now we need to do the same thing on the other side. And it's not making it any easier because I'm trying not to get dirty because I'm fixing to go somewhere. And I didn't want to have to go inside and change clothes. All right, so we look down inside there and you can see that I've got the bottom bead pulled up and the tire's pushed into the drop center. We're just going to repeat that same process as we did on the other side. This time we'll try it with a flat bar and see what happens. The flat bar does that. See how the flat bar doesn't want to go around, and that round bar is the only thing actually moving on this one. So that's why I used the round pry bars. All right, so another way to do it, we've got this about 2/3 of the way off, and we could go ahead and finish doing it this way, or you can get it to this point, reach back here in the back, and pull it out just like that. All right, now let's clean this wheel up and get it ready for the new tire. All right, so at this point, we've got the old tire off, and as most lawn and garden tires and wheels, people have put the Fix-A-Flat, the goop in there for thorns and stuff like that, so you won't get a flat. All of that stuff needs to come off because as it gets loose, it'll get in your valve stem, and when you go to put air in your tire, this stuff is going to want to come out, and it'll plug up your valve stem hole, and then your tire may start leaking, and you're adding air more and more, and all it is this goop that's around the valve. So scrape all this stuff off if you can. It'll make your life easier. All right, so we're going to get this scraped off. I'm going to go ahead and clean the beads up, the areas where the bead of the tire sits, because that'll also get rust. And then I'm going to put a new valve stem in there. Now, valve stems you can get down at I think Walmart's even got a 4-pack of valve stems for like $4 if you're going to try to do this at home. All right, wheels clean, new valve stems in. At this point, you want to grab your new tire, clean the inside of it out, make sure there's nothing in there, any kind of debris or anything like that. Rubber bands, packing material, whatever, however the tire got shipped to you. A lot of times these things are compressed, like this one probably was, and it had a big rubber band around it. All right, make sure that if your tire is directional, you're putting the tire on the rotation of the traction that you need. Some tires are directional, some are not. This happens to be a turf tire and it's not directional. Next step, we want to go back to our Windex, and hopefully this is all that we're going to need. I'm going to squirt the bead down really good with the Windex. All right, so we're going to remove the old valve stem, and this is a valve stem installation tool. You can do this with a pair of pliers, you can do it with a vice grip, and actually you can cut these out with just a pocket knife, because it comes out in 2 pieces usually. All right, you want to clean around the hole where the valve stem goes, get all the goop out of the way, and you can put this new valve stem in exactly the same way. Give it a little squirt of some alcohol-based Windex. That's going to help it glide in, and then the alcohol Windex will evaporate because it'll be gone in just a second. Matter of fact, it's already evaporating. I'm going to give it another squirt. And there you go, your valve stem's in just like that. And you do not have to have this tool right here. You can do it with a pair of pliers. You just don't want to squeeze that valve stem enough to where it will bend the valve itself. All right, let's get this tire on now. Now I do have this wheel mounted in my vise only to make it a little bit easier for me. It's just barely hanging in here. I don't have it crimped down real hard or anything like that. And it's mainly just so that I can have it here in front of me where you can see it. You can do this on the ground or chase it around the front yard. All right, let's get this tire on now. Slippery, slippery. All right, now we want to make sure that the drop center portion of the wheel is facing up, meaning that it's on the top side of the wheel. A lot of times these wheels are like this. Sometimes you'll find the drop center of the wheel on the back side of the wheel, very rarely, and you've got to mount it from the back side forward. This drop center is going to allow the tire bead, which is actually smaller than the wheel itself, to be able to be worked on and not damage the bead. You do not want to damage any of your bead in here because the air will seep in here, go out through the sidewalls, and cause a separation. All right, now that we're soaked up, I'm gonna go ahead and soak the wheel up just a little bit because we are doing this by hand. And now let's see if we can press this tire on. About a 45-degree angle. And there's the top bead. Now, all right, to start off, I went to the recycling bin and got myself a piece of cardboard out of it over there so that I won't be chasing this wheel around. Now, for the most part, I have cleaned this wheel up the best I can. Most of the stuff you see here is all embedded into the paint and it won't come off. All right, just like in some of my other tire mounting videos that I've done, we're gonna get the Windex out, and we're going to use this Windex and lube down the wheel and the tire. Now, to mount this, we're going to start off with the tire mounted up with a valve stem, because this is the drop center portion of the wheel where you can see it right here, the little cavity. The drop center portion of the wheel, it needs to be mounted up, and that's the side you're going to work towards. All right, first off, we're gonna slide the first bead on, which should go on pretty easy with this Windex. Now, the reason I use the Windex is because it is alcohol-based and it will evaporate. So let's push this top bead on, see how much trouble it's gonna give us. That wasn't too bad. That's not too bad for the first bead. Now, to get the second bead on, we need to get it under the drop center part of the wheel too. I'm gonna try to walk it on first without using the vice grips. Now, if you had to use the vice grips, what I do is clamp it to the bead right there, and I use that as a third hand to keep this tire from going anywhere. All right, we're gonna try it without it first. not going to guarantee it's going to work because these tires are kind of stiff. They've been packaged for a long time and they don't want to give up too much. This thing's not big enough for me, but we're going to try it. First, we got to get it down below the bead while we're pushing our weight this way. So we're started at 6 o'clock. We're going to work our way towards 12 o'clock with the bead. And we're trying to push it that way as much as we can. And I don't know if it's going to go anymore, so I'm going to reach in here and get a small bite and try to help pull it that way. All right. Now take advantage of that little bite. Try to keep my heel down this side. I'm going to try to do all this in real time and not edit a bunch of stuff out. If it don't take me 30 minutes. Yep, I'm losing ground. I'm gonna go ahead and put the vice grips on. Because I need a third hand. Now with the vice grips on, we're just gonna try to work it one direction. You don't want to get small bites on this. You don't want to get big bites because it'll pull the rubber through the steel of the bead. Every time you get a bite, move your foot. And I just lost a little bit of ground. And there we go. I've done it easier before. Well, I should have just videoed putting the second one on because it was a lot easier than that first one. And that was real time. I don't believe I'm going to edit any of that out. I didn't say any bad words, but I don't do that anyway. Now, if we're lucky, these will air up as soon as I put the hose on. If we're not lucky, we have to take the valve stem out, get another tool that I've got to air it up that way. Or if you're at home doing it, you can use a bicycle pump and put a band, a strap around your tire, ratchet it down until it swells the beads out to the void area right here. But I believe we're going to be okay. Just don't ever overinflate it past the PSI that it says it needs to be at, and we are okay. It's going to pop, scare you just a little bit, and there it goes. All right. So we'll check the air pressure on that one in just a minute. But we got some new tires. Now, a lot of you guys are going to ask me why didn't I just run these down to the tire store? Well, The answer to that is the older I get, and I find it, the stuff that I know how to do, I'll do it. I'll save a little bit of money. That money that I save, I'll put in a piggy bank, let it sit there for a minute, and then I'll have to spend it on something that I don't do. All right, let's check this out. And we're dead on the money. So there you go, guys. That's how you mount a lawn and garden tire at home, doing it yourself, saving not only a few dollars, but all the aggravation of having to go to the tire store, wait on it, and then somebody getting rude on you. So as always, get out in the garage, work on your hot rod, watch some more of our hot rod videos on this channel. Just get out in the garage and build something. See you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.